Wow, 2022 is almost over. So you know what that means? All the top 10, top 20, top 100 lists are going to be coming out, and I'm starting mines today. Today I'm going to give you my top 20 favorite TV shows, the best TV shows I've seen all year. We're in a golden age of media, movies, televisions, video games, comic books, you can name it. Music is firing on all cylinders, but television shows, the quality of TV is so great lately, and I've seen 60 different TV shows this year, and I've probably seen more than that. That I doubt. These are just the 60 that I complete. 60 of them I completed. I had to narrow that down to 20 because I didn't want to make a 3-hour video gogging about all these different shows, and I'm just gonna have those 20 shows and 3 honorable mentions. My name is Zach. This is Zach Attack Reviews. Thank you for joining me for my top 20 lists with 3 honorable mentions of the best shows of 2022. Let's start with the honorable mentions. On HBO Max, We Own This City, starring the Punisher himself, John Berthenol, in this story about the crime that was going on in Baltimore, mixed with the corrupted police, and the way the story was structured, where they jump through different points to show you the progression of the corruption, how good cops turn into bad cops to terrible cops, and how the system on all sides was just broken and it might not be able to be fixed. And Baltimore was just the greatest example of that. It's something that's going throughout the whole United States, but it was just really bad in Baltimore at this time. This is the time where they put the knee on the neck of that poor man, and he couldn't breathe, and it was just escalating and escalating, the gang violence, the general public just being upset with police, and it was just filled with a bunch of drama and intrigue, and they really showed you where we were going to go and then went backwards and showed you how they got there. And I really enjoyed this show. I think it's something that you should check out. Also on HBO Max is Station 11, a limited series that I really enjoyed. It's kind of pretentious, but it's a story about if COVID-19 pushed us to the brink of extinction and all we had was the art to encapsulate all of our history, like music, paintings, books, and how we would cling to those things, and how crazy people would get without society being in a proper way, with some really powerful performances and one of the best endings to a show that I've seen and really touched my heart. Last honorable mention is Umbrella Academy Season 3. I think this was the best season of Umbrella Academy that we got. My only gripe with it was that the last couple episodes kind of felt a little like it had a lot of filler in it, and it kind of ended a little soft. But overall, I thought it was just a fantastic season. I thought every character got to do something in this season, unlike some other seasons where it kind of felt uneven and some other characters got more attention. I felt like it was broken up really well, and it really handled Elliot's Page transition really well, and I appreciate that. I'm really excited for season 4. Number 20 is the show coming on HBO Max, one of the first shows in the DCEU, and one of the best comic book shows that was ever created, I think, is Peacemaker. James Gunn's child from the spinoff from the Suicide Squad, starring John Cena as Peacemaker, introducing all these side characters that are absolutely lovable. This show was funny. It was always put that first. It was always funny first. Every episode had gags that made me laugh. I love the way they portray Vigilante, even though I like the character in Arrow where he was serious and the main villain. I liked his goofy, kind of Deadpoolish character that he was here. He was tons of laughs. All the supporting cast, the aliens, and the way that invasion ended up, and obviously that amazing season finale with him taking care of everything, and the Justice League coming in at the last minute. That's the type of crossovers and stuff that we wanted from the DCU that we really weren't getting, and I really enjoyed this show. I thought John Cena did a phenomenal job as this character. He really got to show some emotional range. The storyline with his father was really good, and the action was choreographed really well. Some episodes more than others, but really well. The only reason this show is not higher on my list is because I think that because it put the joke first all the time, sometimes it just kind of bogged down the drama. They didn't spend enough time on it sometimes. But other than that, I thought this was a phenomenal show, and I'm excited for season 2. Coming at number 19 is Barry Season 3. I am a new fan of Barry. The show is on HBO and HBO Max, and I binged the first 2 seasons get prepared because I heard how good the show is, and I couldn't believe how amazing this show was overall. And season 3 was phenomenal. If you don't know what Barry is, it's about a hitman that's trying to get out of the life, and he falls into trying to become an actor. And every time he starts to make progression in his life to more positive or like change, something dark from his past keeps pulling him in and continue to make him murder. It's funny. It's very violent. It's very dramatic and has really, really good relationship between characters, and some really quirky characters as well. I always had like a smile on my face, but also was just gasping at the same time of the things that they did in this show. And I think it was a really great watch as we saw Barry just deteriorate. And I think that Bill Hader, the main character, and he's been around for so long, and Sarah Goldberg, his love interest, should get awards for their performances. They were so good in this season. It was absolutely amazing. And if you have not watched the show, I recommend it highly. It's on HBO Max. Coming at number 18 is some zombie media that was really, really, really amazing. I'm a big fan of zombie content. I was a big fan of The Walking Dead, Z Nation, you name it. If it's a zombie content, I've watched it and I most likely loved it, even the poor stuff. But All of Us Are Dead season 1 on Netflix, I thought this was like the greatest hits of all zombie stuff. Every kind of trope you could think of that's in a zombie film was in this. Kids stuck in a school, people panicking, making dumb decisions, people being immune, they're having the military involved, having social media people coming in and trying to record what's going on and not taking it seriously, zombie babies, it just everything you could think of, but wrapped around this really emotional story about these kids trying to survive while also breaking down the politics in Korea and how sometimes all the protocols that they have can stop things from happening when they can save people. It was emotional gut punch after emotional gut punch. The choreograph for the zombies were amazing, movie level, and I really enjoyed all the characters, and the show just broke my heart as it got on, but also made me laugh. It had some quirky, funny moments as well, some interesting zombie action as well. If you are a fan of zombie content, if you like the show Kingdom, you will enjoy this show. It's a different flavor from that, but it's on the same level. Number 17 is coming from Netflix as well, and this is an anime. I used to be a big anime watcher. I got, like, when I was a kid, when I was younger, Toonami introduced me, and then I found stuff on Crunchyroll and everything like that. As I've gotten older, I don't watch as much, but Cyberpunk Edgerunners on Netflix is one of the best that I've seen, and I am happy and sad that it's a one season show, one and done, because the quality of the show, we got a full story arc with these characters, and it was just really, really great. And it wasn't really many things that I did not like about this show, but the sad thing about it is not going to get a season 2, because I'm not going to get to continue with these characters, continue in this world. Obviously I could play the Cyberpunk game, but I don't know if they fixed it yet. But I just really enjoyed a cyberpunk world built this way. The story that they were telling, really, really simple, but just executed really well. All the kinetics, this main character thinking he's the chosen one, and the pitfalls that he went through with that going on in his head, and all the emotional damage and trauma and action and the intrigue. This show was really, really, really great, and had one of my favorite romances in the anime. Off Netflix again, number 16, Ozark season 4, part 1 and part 2. I'm a huge fan of this series. I love this show. Ozark is probably one of my top 10 favorite shows of all time, and I think that they finished it really, really strong with season 4. I think that the way they broke it down as 2 parts made sense, because it was basically 2 seasons and they called it 2 parts, but it was 2 seasons worth of content. Ruth being the gangster she was throughout the show, just taking up to another level, and all the different characters and all the drama that we got, all the little things that happen in each season that may not connect sometimes, all coalesced and came together and just caused for like an explosive finale that broke my heart. If you like Breaking Bad, if you like crime dramas, you need to check this show out if you haven't. Ozark is amazing, and I don't know if I heard there's gonna be spin-offs and things like that. I don't know if that's coming, but it's finished and it's a great watch. Coming in at number 15 is a show that last year in 2021 was my #1 show of the year, and this year it's number 15 because the quality of the season is not as good as season 1, but it's still great, and as Superman and Lois season 2. I really love the show that these creators have built because Superman is my favorite DC hero, and I think this is one of the best DC shows that we've ever gotten, and they understand the character. Tyler Hoechlin, the guy who plays Clark Kent, Superman Kal-El, is to me the best person to play this character ever. He understands all 3 levels of Superman: the alien, the human, and the hero. And Lois Lane, played by Bissy Tulloch, amazing. I know the actors don't look exactly like the characters, but I rather them be more like the characters than look exactly like them. And they both embody Superman and Lois to the best I've seen on screen yet. We also got one of the best, or actually the best, action scene from Superman in live action in this show, and I absolutely loved it. I was blown away by the final episode. I love the kids and how they've grown, and all the supporting characters, and Steel and Bizarro, and how we thought it was Doomsday, and how they twisted out, and then we went to the Bizarre World. It was so many cool things in the show. The only pitfall was that the main villain wasn't as strong, and they kind of did something really annoying with a side character that kind of has some typical CW isms that wasn't in the first season. But overall, I think that this season was fantastic as well. It just wasn't as great as the first season and didn't progress it enough forward. It was a little bit of a step back, but still great. So, at number 14 is probably the most underrated show on this list, and that's Undone season 2. You're like, what the heck is Undone? Undone is a pseudo animated, pseudo live action show on Amazon Prime Video that is about a girl who is half white, half Spanish, and she can travel through her dreams and memories, and it takes her to different points in time. She can see the future, she can see the past, but it's kind of like a That's So Raven kind of situation where she doesn't get to see the full picture. In season 2, she is trying to bring back her dead father, and that was the ending of season 1, and she does that in season 2. And the journey that these characters grow on, the trauma, the healing, the things about community, what you could have and what you lose if you get that, is absolutely amazing. And I thought that the show was super underrated. I wanted to make sure it was on my list so you guys can check it out. If you have Amazon Prime Video, this is one of the best shows on the platform. You definitely should check it out. Undone season 2 is one of the best shows, one of the best animated shows, kind of live action shows that I've ever seen. The watercolor animation where it looks like real people but it's animated is I've never seen anything like it, and the acting is phenomenal. Coming at number 13 is a Hulu FX limited series called Under the Banner of Heaven, starring our boy Andrew Garfield. He had a huge year in these last 2 years from No Way Home. He also had that Netflix movie that he got nominated for an Oscar for, and now I think he should get nominated for an Emmy or something for this show because it was really good. He's a detective playing in Montana, one of those flyover states where there's a heavy Mormon population. There's a murder that happens within the community. He's also a Mormon, but a cop, and he struggles with, does he bust his fellow Mormon, or does he give them a little leeway because he's also with them? And he struggles with that, and how maybe the religion that he's believed and he's dedicated his life to is not exactly what he thought it was. And that exploration and that breakdown over the course of those episodes was very fascinating, and Andrew Garfield knocked that out of the park. There's other supporting characters where I don't know their names right now, but they also did a great job. Sam Worthington, the main character from the Avatar series, he did a fantastic job as the antagonist, kind of the evil do-gooder in this movie, and he just did a really great job playing this sycophant and taking the scripture and everything that they believe in to another level, and way too seriously, and to a level that he should not. I think this was a fascinating discovery into the Mormon society and how a section of them can act. It's not representative of every one of them, but it's how a small section that can be very violent and affect everyone can act, and that struggle of, is my religion really what I believe it is? I need to do maybe a little more research and How do I interact with it when I'm someone of the law as well? And some of the deaths and the murders here were chilling, and it was just this mystery, who done it. And then when you found out who done it, you're like, how did we catch them? It was just really, really interesting. Coming at number 12 is one of the best superhero shows ever created, and that is The Boys. Wow. This season of The Boys, season 3, was fantastic. Homelander finding out that I can do whatever I want and no one can stop me, created a season full of tension until we got our boy from Supernatural playing Soldier Boy, and he did Jensen Eccles. I always love him, everything he does, all the way back from when he was that football coach in Smallville, and he just knows and understands the assignment of everything he's supposed to do, and he was a great character in this show. The character progression of Butcher and him having powers, and also Jack Quaid's character doing it as well, and all the different characters and all the struggles and things that they went through while Homelander is just hovering over them, always being that presence of that can just murder them at any time, was absolutely fantastic. And I think that this show, or this season, ended off really strong and put us in a place where now we have a ticket time clock for the next season. We know a character is going to die in the coming months of the next season, so it really shows like, what are we gonna do, what's gonna happen. It's gonna have some speedy, they can't play around anymore in this show. But at number 11 is the show from Apple TV Plus. Apple TV Plus doesn't have a lot of shows and movies, but they pick quality over quantity, and this show, Severance, the first season, is one of the best first seasons of a show I've ever seen in my life. Intrigue, mystery, just throughout the show, phenomenal acting, a sci-fi concept I haven't really seen before. It's probably been done a little bit before, but not exactly to this extent. I know a lot of you watch the show, but if you have not watched the show, the concept is that in this world that is like ours, if you want to work at this particular job, you have to go through something that's called severance, where they put a chip in your brain. When you go into the building to your job, it turns off the outside of you. They call you the outside version, and you become a different person that works there. You don't know anything about your outside life, and your outside life doesn't know anything about what the innie does there, and it creates this weird, crazy aspect when the main character, who played by Adam Scott, he did a fantastic job, sees one of his coworkers outside of the job, and he recognizes him, and he's like, oh, I don't know who you are. He's like, we're best friends at work. And he starts telling him about the darkness of the job and what is really going on, and you find out what's really happening and how it's revealed in that phenomenal finale. It gets you hooked and you want more. Season 2 can't come fast enough. But on number 10 is a masterpiece. It's called Primal, and I love this show so much. This is season 2. It's on HBO Max. It's by the creators of Samurai Jack, and you can see the art style and the feel of that show here. And if you have not seen Primal before, a smaller show, it's an animated show, and it's about the Stone Ages. A caveman and a dinosaur befriend each other out of survival. And it sounds ridiculous, but the way it's executed in the first episode of the first season, you understand. You see they go through so much trial and tribulations in the first season. In season 2, it continues in a way where season 1 brought them together and they're close, and it was kind of like that they were siblings. At this point, they protect each other. In season 1, in season 2, they kind of separate a little bit as their motivations start changing, and Fang and Spear is trying to do two different things. The animation is beautiful. There's not really any dialogue in the show, so the silence and the way they tell the story through facial expressions, motifs, and action makes it really, really, really exciting. And this looks like this is going to be the final season of this wonderful show, and they ended it off in a heartbreaking way that I was so hurt, emotional damage to the core.
Emotional damage.
But I absolutely loved every second of it. If you have HBO Max, there's no reason you shouldn't be checking out Primal. Coming at number 9 is a show off of Hulu, and this is one of the best Hulu FX shows that they've put out, and that is The Bear. You most likely have heard about this show. People have been talking about it nonstop. I didn't get to review it, but I absolutely love this show. If you don't know what The Bear is about, it's about a Chicago restaurant and the drama that comes there because the person that owned it passes away, and it passes down to his pseudo family, and them trying to figure out how to bring this struggling restaurant up, because the main character is like an official chef. He works in those like Gordon Ramsay kind of kitchens, and he's coming into this grisly place where the people don't want to change, and he's trying to upscale it in a way where it brings new life, and all the drama that comes with that is just amazing. The main character, I'm forgetting his name right now, did a phenomenal job. This is a award-worthy performance that he had, and a lot of the supporting characters also had phenomenal performances as well. The show is one of the most anxiety-inducing shows. Like, if you ever seen the movie Uncut Gems by Adam Sandler, it's like that, but for the episodes. So if you have anxiety already, it might be a lot for you, but the way it's done, and then they release it with a joke and then go right back into the anxiety of the kitchen and the chaos of it, it's just absolutely phenomenal. But at number 8 is a show from Netflix, and that Cobra Kai season 5, season 4 too, because it came out December 31st of 2021, so it's technically like, it's basically 2022, but season 5 came out he came out this year, and it was absolutely phenomenal. It was great. I felt like Miguel took a back seat in these last couple seasons, and he kind of got pushed more forward to the front. I have some problems with the season with like Hawk and them like not really having stories to tell, but what they did with the villains and with the adults and some of the kids, and how they progressed them, and the action, and how everything just got really chaotic towards the end. Miguel meeting his father, all of it was just really thrilling. There's just something about Cobra Kai that just really works for me. It has a cheesiness to it that I like. It doesn't get too corny. It just treads on the line like right there, and it's so absurd, but they delve into the absurdity of the situation, and it makes it so lovable to watch. I am so excited to see what happens in season 6, most likely the final season, but season 5 was great. But at number 7 is the new phenomenon on the block. My girl Jenna Ortega's in there, and she plays Wednesday. I didn't have super high expectations for the show when I saw the trailer. It looked cute, it looked fun. I knew I was gonna watch it because I'm a fan of Jenna Ortega, but I was blown away by how great the show was, how fun it was. It was an honest mystery that really had me guessing to the last moment. And when you find out who's the killer and who's the person sending out the killer and all the different things that's going on, you're like, they were right in your face, but they masked it in such a great way that you might not get it. And even people who I know are really smart and watch shows and get things right away didn't catch everything until they revealed it. Jenna Ortega as Wednesday did an absolutely amazing job as this character, on the level of Christina Ricci, and I love that Christina Ricci was in the show as well. All the supporting cast was just really, really fun. It was a mix of the chilling adventures of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Harry Potter, and with Adam family lore and characters and things like that. And I hope that with season 2 they delve more into the school and things like that. But I really, really love this show. Every episode was fun. Every episode had something funny, and it's always something intriguing in every episode as well. It was a really good mystery thriller. Coming at number 6, it was a show that was like a weekly appointment show, and me and my friends would talk about, and I haven't had a show like that in a while, and that's Euphoria season 2. A season that we've been waiting for so long, but it was definitely worth it for me. This is one of the most messiest drama shows that there is on TV, but it's done in such a snotty, pretentious, high gloss way that I absolutely loved it. It's just so many great things about this show that I enjoy. Zendaya's performance as this character, especially that specific episode that was about her, absolutely phenomenal. I couldn't believe it. That episode where she was trying to get that fix was insane. Sydney Sweeney leveled up all the way, almost up to Zendaya's level in this episode, in this season, and did a fantastic job. And now you can see she's getting all these different jobs and stuff like that, is because they see that she's a phenomenal actress. And I really, really enjoyed her performance as well. And just all the side characters were great. There were certain characters that got pushed to the side, like Barbie Ferrera's Cat. She was a really big part of season 1. She wasn't a big part of this season, and some other characters as well. But overall, I really enjoyed everything they did with this season. It wasn't 100% perfect, but it was so good that the nitpicks that I have are just little tiny nitpicks. Coming at number 5 is a show that surprised me, and I love it so much. Season 1, I think, started like at the end of 2020, but 2021, like went deep into 2022. But season 2 is ongoing in 2022, and it's Abbott Elementary. A lot of people talk about stuff like The Office, Parks and Recreation, and like work comedies like that, mockumentaries. And I never caught on the wave of those shows. It missed me, and I really didn't go back. But this show is for me. I worked in the school system for a little while, and I understand everything that these teachers, because the show focuses on teachers in a mockumentary style, quite like The Office, with the camera following them and them talking to the camera and them documenting moments. And I just relate to everything, and it's so black at the same time without like screaming black in your face, and it just relates to me in a way that other shows don't. And I find every episode very charming, very funny, and I just have to be really hyped for Quinta Brunson, who came from like writing comedy shorts on YouTube and TikTok and Vine to making this really great award-winning show that she stars, writes, and sometimes directs in. All the supporting characters are great. Everybody, the kid from Everybody Hates Chris is here, grown and hilarious, and I'm glad that he's getting recognition as well. And this season has just been really, really fun. Number 4 is, to me, might be my favorite anime of all time. Obviously not going over Dragon Ball Z, that's kind of like on a level of its own. It just grew up with it. The nostalgia will never get away. But Attack on Titan season 4, I believe part 2 that we got this season. I'm not sure if we got part 1 and part 2 this year. I don't think so. I think we got part 1 last year and then part 2 this year. But phenomenal anime season. If you don't know what Attack on Titan is, it's too complicated for me to explain what it is up to this point, because there's so many twists and turns, lore, characters, moments, and things that happen. If you know, you know. Attack on Titan is absolutely amazing. The animation is beautiful. The characters are crazy. The situation is so dire, and it touch on different aspects that I really, really like. It's an anime that doesn't have some of the weird anime-isms that a lot of anime have. It's kind of more mature, and the Titans feel like zombies, but then they evolve into something more than zombies, and it's this whole backlore that's just insane and deep, and it's just so engrossing. There's twists and turns. You really never know what's coming next if you didn't read the manga, which I didn't, and I absolutely love this show. Even if you're not somebody that likes anime, you should definitely give Attack on Titan a chance if you're into horror. If you like scary horror and horrific things, this is a really good show. It has those aspects. It's not a bunch of jump scares or anything like that, but it's just a horrific situation and horrific monsters. 3 is Stranger Things season 4, part 1, part 2. Put the whole thing together. It was absolutely amazing. They elevated this show to movie level. It was so good. All the characters did a really great job. Not all of them got time to shine like they used to. Some of the people feel like their story threads kind of hit a wall, but the characters that didn't, specifically Sadie Sink, she did a phenomenal job. She has leveled herself to a point to me in this show that she seems like she's going to be the breakout star from this supporting cast. David Harbour was fantastic. Winona Ryder is always great. I'm forgetting about the Russian friend with glasses, kind of bald. He's always great, and I'm glad to see he's getting different things too. But the show itself, the way they built out the lore, this villain that we finally got to see, the going into the Upside Down, the way they broke the season apart, and it felt like this epic movie that we're getting over like a 9-10 hour span, more than that, because one of the episodes was 2 hours. It was just a director and a writer getting to just flesh out and play in a playground for as long as they wanted, and I've always loved living in the Stranger Things world. We got so much time in there, and I absolutely love this season. The VFX was fantastic. The twists and turns were fantastic. The action was really good, and the villain was honestly terrifying, like Freddy Krueger level terrifying, like classic monster. He should be up on those pantheons of characters, terrifying. And the things that he did in this final season, the final couple episodes, chef kiss. Number 2 is a show based off a DC Vertical comic that I've been hearing so much about. My friend Max has told me how great this series is, but people thought it was unadaptable because of how complicated and layered it is, and that's Sandman on Netflix. and they did a fantastic job with this show. I'm so happy that people watched the show. It did really good, and it's getting a season 2 because I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. I was blown away. My favorite comic book show this year, and we've gotten a lot of great comic book shows, and I'm going to be doing a ranking of comic book shows this year as well. So obviously I spoiled number 1, but let's see where all the Marvel and other DC stuff come in. But just the guy that plays Sandman, Morpheus, he does a fantastic job of this emo, um, not self-aware, very dry guy that starts opening up and starting understanding humanity. He's this god-like creature living amongst men, and not living amongst men, but dealing with human emotions and things like that. And the way they incorporated his story, but then have all these bunch of different stories in there. Some episodes he's not even in the bonus episode. It was so good. It's such a complicated story to kind of explain, but it's basically these guys that controls our dreams, death, and all these different things that we can't physically imagine. They're the ones that control it, and humans are trying to capture them and use them for their own doing, bad doing. And it's a little bit more than that, but that's like the basic premise that the show starts off with. And it's just absolutely phenomenal from beginning, and there's some weaker moments in episodes, but overall it's just a fantastic show, and you should definitely check it out. At number 1, my number 1 show of 2022 and one of my favorite shows of all time is Atlanta. Season 3, I think, finished in 2022, and the final season in season 4 started and finished in 2022, and both seasons were game changers to me. Season 2, they took a different approach where every other episode was a self-contained, weird, elseworld kind of episode that happens in their world, but also reference stuff that happens with us. And it was just so funny, so thought-provoking, well acted, well directed, very creative. And in season 4, they took it kind of more back to the basics, where we hang out with the main characters for most of the season, well, all the episodes, but also incorporated those self-contained episodes in a way. They kind of mixed in those weird things that they were doing in season 3 and sprinkled that more in season 4. And I just thought that they did a bang up job. I love all the characters, I love the storylines, I love the deeper meanings and metaphors and everything that they're trying to portray in this show. And I think that they execute really, really well. And overall, it's just a funny show. It's black as hell, and I'm black, and I love it. And I understand if that doesn't maybe not pertain to you, but I think it's portrayed in a way that even if you're not black or anything like that, you can enjoy the show, you can love it, and it's just going to be really, really fun. There might be certain things you don't understand the joke, but overall, I think that is one of the best written shows I've ever seen, and I'm so sad that it's gone, but I'm glad it's ended on a high note. So yes, so that is my top 20 with 3 honorable mentions shows of 2022. Let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think about these shows that I listed? Are they on your list? List your list down below. Tell me the show. I know there's tons of shows I probably did not put on my list that were great, like House of Dragon. I thought was really good, but didn't make my list, and Rings of Power and Yellowstone and Succession and other shows. It's so much content, so many shows coming out all the time. That's so great that I'm not gonna make my list, but you put your list down below and let me know what you really liked. So thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me as I count down and spread my love of all these shows. Hit the like button if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel because I have reviews coming for the movies that's coming out at the end of December, and more ranking lists and more top 10 lists for movies that I have a couple more movies I need to see before I make that list. My top 10 movies of the year list is coming soon as well. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be notified of those videos, and you can watch more of my content right now.